Well, hello there.
Are we live?
We're live.
Are we?
Yes, we
Where
are.
does it say that?
It said it there. See, in stream.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hi. Welcome back.
I've only been doing this for a few months, so I understand
Well, this thing is in the way.
your concern.
Do you understand? Like normally.
Okay, I'll make that go.
Thanks.
How's
See?
that?
Okay.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Happy Monday.
Never mind us. Welcome back to the next edition of Monday Night Live. I am Dr. Ken Berry, a family physician with 22 years of clinical experience. This vision of intelligence, culture, and loveliness.
I'm Neisha Solace-Berry, Dr. Berry's bimbo wife.
Yes, gold digger.
Oh, yeah. I'm also a registered nurse and a health coach and certified breast counselor. Well,
some people probably need that.
Breastfeeding counselor.
Yes.
And I love spending time with you on Monday Night Live because my favorite part is seeing the wins in the comment section.
Yes.
The success stories. So do not be shy. If you don't have to ask a question, if you just want to say how awesome life is going now that you have found that food is medicine, do that, because people come back and they watch these comments and it really helps them to see that eating real food is not dangerous. It's actually really good for you.
Yeah. For millions of years, we knew to eat lots of meat, lots of eggs, lots of seafood. And now we've discovered through the magic of science in the last few years that meat is very bad for you and you shouldn't eat too many eggs and seafood might be dangerous. And we're here to dispel those myths and help you understand a proper human diet. Over the next hour, we're going to try to answer as many questions from you about a proper human diet, about nutrition, about medical conditions, medications, etc., as we can. Try to keep your questions as succinct as possible without being pithy or laconic. Remember, I am a doctor and she is a nurse, but this is not medical advice because we don't know you.
And this is YouTube.
And this is YouTube. This is just a doctor and a nurse talking from how many decades of combined experience? A few.
Yeah, I've been in nursing since I was 19.
Yeah, she's going on 24 now.
Oh my God, 24. Haha, aren't you cute? But we're not alone. We also have our moderators who are also PhD approved coaches in the comments. So if you see a blue name with a blue wrench and they are answering questions, those are our people and they're going to help you too. And they're here to help us help you. So say hello to the coaches and thank you to them for spending time with us on this lovely Monday night.
Aesop Meat says, I want to thank you. Your words of wisdom have changed my life. I don't really think I have a lot of wisdom, but I do a lot of reading.
He doos.
I do a lot of reading and a lot of thinking and contemplating and synthesis. And I guess that masquerades as wisdom, but I love the tone behind your message and the way you're going to pay us back, Aesop. You need to pay us back. And you're going to do that by paying it forward. But now you're going to teach your friends and your family the benefits, the joy, the demurity of a proper human diet.
Oh my goodness, guys, can you believe it is November? It's going to be January in another year before you know it. The holidays are coming up. Hope you are setting goals, setting boundaries. Some of us are really good about staying on track during the holidays, and some of us aren't. So make sure you're joining Monday Night Live to stay on track. You can also join the community, phdhealth.com/community. We are running a mini challenge in the pro group to help everybody stay accountable. We're also doing giveaways. There's all of it in my lap. We're going to do competition for ugly Christmas sweater. Dr. Berry will be.
Wait till you see mine. It's so ugly.
It's really not. I think his is really cute.
Well, I want it to be low-key hot, but then I'm going to call it ugly.
Okay. Well, he's not going to win the contest, but you might. We're doing lots of giveaways. We have a lot of people involved. Cookbooks, skincare that's tallow-based, a lot of cool stuff. So if you're in there, you can look forward to that. And if you're not in there, you can join it anytime.
And speaking of boundaries, let me tell you what happened in this household the morning after Halloween. The morning after Halloween, I come in the living room and there's a big red Rubbermaid box sitting there. And I'm like, what is that? She's like, oh, nothing.
I didn't say that. He knew exactly what it was.
The damn Christmas tree. The Christmas tree is already up here in the Berry household, in the Salisbury household.
The kids were ready, and as we all know, the kids rule this house. And they are happy about it, and it's fine.
They are happy.
You put your tree up when you want to, okay? And I will put mine up when I want to. And that's
Jennifer
okay.
says some people say nitrates in meat are bad. So there's several ways. I actually have a couple of YouTube videos that I talk about this. Nitrates are it's a salt that they put on the meat to cure it. Humans have been curing meat with salt for over 8,000 years, first of all. Secondly, there are nitrates in plants. And you'll actually hear people who are vegan advocates say, oh, the nitrates in beets and in celery, those are very good for you. They turn into nitric oxide and lower your blood pressure. Well, they're right about that. But also the nitrates in bacon and sausage and other preserved meats also turn into nitric oxide. Your salivary glands, you actually make your own nitrites in your mouth. You're doing it right now. So when people say nitrates and nitrites are bad if they're in bacon, but somehow they're magically good in plants, that's just dumb. It's the same molecule. They're good for you. What do you got over there, my friend? My wife.
People saying that, it was the kids. No, you're right. You're right. It was
100%.
me. But
right.
Guess what? The kids loved it.
They do.
But the thing is, Beckett is very upset when I took him to the calendar and showed him how far away Christmas was.
I asked him last night. We were sitting on the couch. I said, how many days till Christmas? He goes, 53.
So he's really annoyed by that.
And I was like, how do you know that? He said, Mom looked it up on the calendar.
We have a calendar for learning.
Burning Delight says, quick question. Can you please talk about copper? So there is some fear mongering about copper out there. Copper is actually an element. It's a mineral. It is an essential. You need a little copper in your diet. Not too much. That's absolutely true. If you're eating beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, or some version of a carnivore diet, if you're eating keto or ketovore, you're going to get plenty of copper, and you're not going to get too much copper. Let's see what else we got here, and then we'll jump over. You have any good ones over there? Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. What city, what state, what country. Granny Barry's watching this. She's staying with our parents down in Alabama, and she loves to see where you're watching from. So say hi, Granny Barry, and what city or state you're watching from, what continent, if you're from another continent. She just loves that. Hi, Granny Barry. We love you. We're going to come see you soon.
Lots of other people have put their tree up. Okay, I feel very validated right now. We got a lot of awesome places in the comments. Australia. I love when I see Australia.
Yeah, here's Mandy from England.
What time is it in Australia?
I thought it was frowned upon to call it England now, Mandy. I thought you were supposed to say the UK. Isn't that right? I don't
think you get to say because we're not from there, so they can do whatever.
Well, I talked to a guy one time at Disney World years ago, and he said, if you're from England, you call it England. But if you're from anywhere else, you call it the UK.
He was the authority. Okay.
He seemed fairly authoritative. Here's a neighbor from Knoxville, Tennessee. Anybody else watching from Tennessee? Don't be shy.
Balls. This year, anyways. All right. Find a question.
Okay. All right. Let's do some questions. All right. We've got first up. Oh, sorry. Pardon me.
Yes.
First up is Jeff Lee. My wife has thyroid issues. We have the J. Crow's Lugol's 2% solution. How much should she take orally? Should she add vitamins? If so, how much? So the only vitamin, if you're eating a proper human diet, Jeff, and your wife is too, the only vitamin she's going to need is vitamin D3 and vitamin K2. You're going to get most every other vitamin on a proper human diet. Iodine in many people's diet is lacking because the food that they're eating just doesn't contain as much iodine as it used to. Even 40, 50 years ago, foods were much higher in iodine than they are now. And so most people, if they'll just use 2 or 3 drops of Lugol's 2%, that's going to, first of all, that's going to be way the hell more iodine than she was getting, right? And so if she does get a little too much, she's just going to urinate that away. That's the way the human body works. It's not going to build up and become toxic or any of that foolishness that you hear. If you have Hashimoto's, you still need iodine. If you have hyperthyroidism, you still need iodine. If you have thyroid cancer, you still need iodine. Every cell in your body needs iodine. If you don't have a thyroid and you're taking a thyroid replacement hormone, you still need iodine.
The best rule of thumb when it comes to any of this stuff is start low, go slow, do your own research, and pay attention to your body. After 30 days of doing like 2 drops, 1 drop a day. How do you feel?
Oh,
do you
also-
feel better? Do you feel worse?
Yes,
Document
yes.
it. Get you a little diary and be like, today I started on iodine. I'm taking 1 drop of 2% Lugol's iodine. I feel no different because it's been 1 day. All right. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and just see how it goes. And if you don't feel any worse, then maybe bump it up. But do your own research. There's so much information on Dr. Barry's channel about iodine. Find out. Do a little digging.
And also for the 7 of you who just were sitting there watching this and said, well, I'm allergic to iodine. No, you're not. Your doctor told you wrong. And don't get mad at me. Just watch my video about iodine and you'll understand. Tia, hope you're all well. Are these labs okay? Cholesterol 6.5, trigs 0.8, HDL 1.4. Your trigs and HDL are good. I'd love to see what your A1C, your fasting insulin, and your HSCRP are. But the 2 that I see there are pretty good.
T Gold says, who cleaned the shelves? It was me. And it was a few months ago. Well, I don't know, maybe a month ago.
Yeah.
You must have been gone for a minute.
Yeah. And it really makes me uncomfortable for everything to be so neat and tidy behind me. I don't like it a bit. I'm making up for it with my desk.
Yeah, if you could only see the desk.
It's bad. It's really bad. Yeah. Melissa, I've been carnivore for 10 months. Lately, I am having numb and tingly lips, tongue, and very sensitive teeth. Any ideas? I take magnesium, B complex, and 1 to 2 elements a day. This could be magnesium deficiency. This could be calcium, potassium. This could be too much of a B vitamin. You need to go see your doc and get all your electrolytes checked. Make sure they check a calcium because sometimes tingly lips can be a calcium problem as well.
Real quick, keep it healthy in the comments. I know you guys want to talk about the thing, okay? But we're not going to talk about Bruno tonight.
We know what's happening tomorrow. We know.
Health, it's not a political stance, all right?
Right.
Everybody deserves to be healthy. I don't care where you come from, who you are, what you do, what you say, what you think, what you feel. I don't care. Everybody needs to be healthy. Don't talk about Bruno. Thank you for your time. Okay.
You don't want to ask everybody who they're... Okay. Hey, Holly, how's it going? Drew, what are your thoughts on LMNT's use of maltodextrin? I'm glad you asked this. In their product, high glycemic load sugar, any concerns? It seems benign to me. So first thing, they have maltodextrin, and they've always said they have a little maltodextrin, but it turns out they've got 10 times as much as they kind of claimed. But the question is it enough to matter? So if you don't know, maltodextrin is just another form of sugar. It actually has a higher glycemic index than remember the sugar bowl on Granny's table? Maltodextrin has a higher glycemic index than the sugar in the sugar bowl. So it can be an issue. Is it enough to mess with people's weight loss, with reversing type 2 diabetes, getting rid of prediabetes? There's this thing called a normal distribution curve. And I think for the vast majority of people, that's not enough maltodextrin to make it a big deal. But for this small minority over here on this end of the normal distribution curve, that could be enough to bump their blood sugar, bump their insulin, slow down their progress.
Our friend Nick Norwitz made an amazing video that covers all the points that I would make in a video, but why do that when he did it for me? I'm going to save myself the time and send you to his channel.
And he's so cute.
He's the cutest. And he makes all the points that I would make. I don't use the flavored myself. I use the raw. And there's no maltodextrin in that. It's only in the flavored packet. So if you're using the cans, also no maltodextrin in them. So
I would encourage.
But you can also make your own. And LMNT actually has a good recipe on their website for you to make your own. So, I mean, whether you think they're too expensive or you don't want to, buy them for whatever reason, they do have a recipe. We have a recipe. Just Google how to make your own electrolytes. Yep. You'll find multiple. But I really like their raw, and I'm going to continue to use them because there's nothing bad in them. And
same for me.
I've been using them for a long time.
And let me encourage all you guys, especially if you are a sugar addict and sweet things just trigger you, let's slowly decrease the amount of all sweeteners and anything sweet that we put in our mouth. There's no need for it. You don't need it at all. You just enjoy it. Maybe you're addicted to it, or maybe you just enjoy it.
I will say that I'll be using the chocolate element over the next few months, probably every now and then, because it does make a really nice hot chocolate. But you can make that with anything. So, like, if you don't want to use that, that's fine. But it's not enough that it bothers me. But I'm not diabetic. I don't have a history of being diabetic. Like I have no blood sugar issues. That's not my health issue. So.
Yep. And let me also add this. Listen carefully. Element's not the only one. Bet me. Especially all the keto junk, the keto cookies, cakes, pies, pancakes, just wait. Somebody's going to send one of those off to the lab and they're going to come back swimming in maltodextrin. Okay. I think Ultima has already fessed up and said, yeah, we've got quite a bit of maltodextrin. It's a sweetener, but it's got a different name than sugar. So it sounds legit. Also keep in mind that LMNT and Ultima and all the others, they may not know how much, honestly, they may not know, because many times when you scale up the production of something like that, you outsource that. And in many cases, those companies, they've got leeway to kind of tweak whatever they want to tweak.
Also, I just want to throw this out there because a lot of you, I've seen the comment sections, okay? And you're like, that's why I use Redmond's Relay that has maltodextrin in it too.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we're going to just make sure you guys know everything, I'm going to make sure you know
Absolutely.
everything. So
Absolutely.
anything that has the word natural flavors could potentially have
100%.
maltodextrin in it.
And it probably does. Yes.
So just be able to discern that, understand it, make the decision for yourself, or use the version that doesn't have any, like the raw, the unflavored, salty. I think they don't have maltodextrin, but they do have another flavor carrier. So, I mean, there has to be something in there. That's just how flavoring works. So just use the unflavored, make your own at home. There you go.
Yep. Alexandra, not Alexandria, Alexandra says, my friend tried carnivore for a week. She said she started having acid reflux and stopped carnivore out of fear. It's causing acid reflux. Should she try again and just push through? Or is there a chance carnivore is causing it? Carnivore is on the proper human diet spectrum. It's not going to cause any medical problems. Now, if you've been eating the standard American ultra-processed junk food crap diet and you convert overnight to carnivore, that's a shock to your system. Much like if an alcoholic's been drinking a fifth of vodka a day for years, if you take that away from them and give them water to drink, they're going to be miserable for a week or two. Right? That doesn't mean they should go back to the vodka. It just means they need to break the addiction, give their body time to settle with this new super healthy option. And I would encourage a friend to try it again. Actually, carnivore is the reason, reflux is the reason I went carnivore. It's the reason I stayed carnivore, because I had no clue it was going to get rid of my reflux, which used to be severe. After a month, I had no reflux. I'm like, dang, I'm going to keep doing this. So the vast majority of people report that it helps the reflux. Josh, any advice for my pregnant wife struggling with nausea? I happen to have an expert here, labor and delivery nurse, breastfeeding consultant, and also the proud mother of two.
Yeah. Trying her best to stay real human diet. It's been very difficult. I don't know how many weeks she is because you didn't say, but usually it's the first trimester. So just tell her to do the best she can. I want to recommend this book called Expecting Better by Emily Oster. And the reason I say read that book is because of what I'm going to say next, which is if she likes deli meat, she can eat deli meat.
100%.
And a lot of pregnant women are more avert to hot, smelly, greasy things as opposed to cold things. So I was able to eat salami, bologna, any of those type of things with no issue. But if you had a hot, greasy steak in front of me,
when she was in her first trimester, just me cooking a steak for me would just kill her nausea wise. I would have to go outside and cook it on the grill.
So now I'm not done. That cold foods, cold boiled eggs, tuna salad, egg salad, cold things usually help. Also, tell her to ask her OB about taking a vitamin B supplement. Sometimes that can help. But keep in mind, the OB may prescribe a prescription, which has a sleep aid in it. Tell her to say no to that and just ask for B6 complex, a good quality one, and ask about the dosage. The complex is the one with the sleep aid, pretty expensive, and also like you just can't function because it makes you so sleepy.
Why would
you're
you need a
already
sleep
so
aid?
sleepy when you're
What do they want you to
pregnant.
just sleep while you're nauseated so you don't notice it?
Yes, pretty much.
No,
but also tell her to give herself some grace. She's cooking a human, and as long as she's trying to do her best, I mean, that's all that really matters.
As long as she's not reaching for the Doritos and the honey buns and the Oreos. If it's a real whole food, It's not that bad for the baby or for her. Okay. It's still proper human diet approved. So don't sweat it too much.
Some strawberries, some fruit. I mean, whatever. Give her real food. That's the main thing she needs to be focusing on. And hydration.
Yes. Christ the TRDM fan. Chris. I'm sorry. Chris. So hard. I wish there were spaces. Healthier than ever. Eating mostly raw carnivore and putting on muscle is crazy easy. A lot of people are noticing this. Y'all and Dr. Chafee are the reason my kids have a healthier life than I did. And they also have a healthier, happier parent. I said this once on Twitter and it caused a huge storm. I said, yes, of course you're willing to die for your kids. We would all say that if we were asked. But are you willing to eat healthy for your kids? Are you willing to live a healthy lifestyle for your kids? Because if you're inflamed and sick and miserable and in pain, you're going to be a less good parent. So not only would we die for our kids, we would also eat a proper human diet we'll feed them a diet too, but we're going to eat it for them. So they've got happier, healthier, more alert, more aware, more conscious parents. That's what eating a proper human diet will do for you. So thank you very much for that, Chris. What about shadow of the day?
Grandmother says carnivore isn't healthy and that I shouldn't listen to you over most doctors because they went to college to be doctors. LOL. Dr. Berry did also go to college.
I also went to college to make a doctor. And then I went to medical school to make even more of a doctor. And then I did 3 years of residency to be even more of a doctor.
And then he had a practice.
He was
in the ER for how many years?
8 years.
And then he had a practice. Now he's a YouTube doctor.
Now I'm a YouTube doctor. Yeah. And so shadow of the day, first and foremost, do not disrespect grandmother. Be respectful to grandmother. Grandmother has wisdom. And she knows a lot of stuff. She may not be right about this, but that doesn't mean that she's not very wise. So you're going to be respectful and maybe ask Socratic questions like, what makes you say that, grandmother? Why do you think that? What exactly?
He's on YouTube.
Right. And if it's just that, then okay, whatever. And so every time you go see grandmother, you can make her a keto or a carnivore meal and be like, look, I cooked you some ribeyes, grandma. You don't have to say Dr. Berry said to do it. I don't need the credit. I just need the end result. That's what I'm looking for.
That's true. Tell her some doctor.
Yeah.
Make up a name.
Yeah. Naila, her stick with knit
that is another language.
Bakery or siete? Stick, knit, positive.
No idea.
Bakery or siete? I'm sorry, Naila. My tongue don't go like that.
Know of any good carnivore supporting doctors in the Indianapolis area? So there are several telehealth carnivore doctor situations going on now. One of the main ones is Dr. Tro's. So if you go to, I never can remember this.
Cannot remember what his website is, but if you just look for Dr. Tro, TRO, you should find him.
So he has a lot of providers that are on there and they have licenses in multiple states so that they can help. But I'm going to tell you this one thing. You do not need a carnivore doctor or a keto doctor. All you need is a good doctor who will listen to you and see results. You just have to know how to talk to your doctor.
Exactly true. If your doctor starts giving you nutrition advice, ask your doctor how much training in nutrition they've had. That'd be question number one. And 80% of doctors, if they're honest, they're going to say, well, none. But I did watch CNN last night. So about 20% of doctors had one class. I had a one class for half a semester my second year. It was 1 day a week for half a semester. And it didn't teach me anything. And so I agree with Neisha. You don't need a keto or a carnivore doctor. You just need the doctor to diagnose you, to draw labs, to do a physical exam. They don't need to give you dietary advice. If they do, just nod and smile and say, oh, yeah, it's a great idea. I'm going to do that. And then don't do that. You don't have to mess up what diet you're eating. Just tell them you're eating a proper human diet.
In the new year in the community, I'm going to really dive into how to talk to your doctor and how to get your doctor to do what you want, because you really don't need a labeled doctor. And in fact, you probably don't need a doctor at all for the most part once you get healthy, because they have been taught how to prescribe things. If you're truly healthy, back in the olden days, doctors were only around for acute injury.
Yep. If you fell off the house, got hit by a bus, got appendicitis, something like that, you need a doctor. But for the vast majority, of things, you don't really need a doctor at all.
Yeah.
So,
especially when you're healing your body. But we're going to dive into that and teach you how to advocate for yourself in the clinic setting, because really and truly, it's not about the label. And you're going to pay a lot for some of these doctors. And I'm not saying they don't deserve to be paid, because they are giving you carnivorous advice and they're supporting you and all that stuff. But like, some of you can't afford that. And for you to think that you need that is not fair. So we want to try and teach you how to get the answers from the doctor that you have without having to pay, you know, whatever amount to get advice from a carnivore doctor.
Absolutely. Now, this next comment, I do not condone or recommend this. Robert says, thanks, Dr. Berry, for the tricks and skim milk diet idea for low cholesterol, for blood tests, for life insurance. I got the highest rating. Felt awful during that. It was a bit hard to get back on track. Sugar is definitely a drug. So Robert, they were going to start charging him more for his life insurance because his cholesterol was super high. And I said, just buy a big family-sized box of tricks and a gallon of skim milk and live on that for about 5 days before you go get your blood drawn. And he did that. His cholesterol was so low, he got the highest rating. Nick Norwitz did this with Oreo cookies. Dave Feldman did this with fat-free turkey and plain white loaf bread. There's any number of ways to hack the system, but on a regular daily basis, don't do this. Okay. But if you need this to save a ton of money on your life insurance, then there's that. Abby Kate, thoughts on taking THC while fully carnivore for recreational purposes? Well, let me just tell you this right off the bat. I would 1,000 times rather you take THC than smoke THC. Don't smoke this. Don't inhale the smoke from any plant, please. Don't do that. That's just dumb. Okay. Wild animals run away from smoke. They don't run to it and inhale it. So if you want to take a gummy every now and then, is it good for you? I think the research is still unclear on that, because all the researchers had preconceived notions, either pro or con. But I think if you want to have a little THC for your birthday and anniversary, it's probably fine. Go ahead. You got something.
No, I really don't. I'm very pro THC medicinally. You said recreational. So like, I don't know what that means. Is that daily?
Yeah, definitely not daily. Come on.
No, because then there's maybe something you need to address, right?
If you need THC daily, you need to fix something in your life.
Right. That's all I'm saying. It's like, don't put a Band-Aid on a bullet hole.
100%. Thank you, Rachel, very much. Lewis, proud tribe member. My friend has Graves' disease. What will help that? So Graves' disease, or hyperthyroidism, it's an autoimmune overactive thyroid condition. Endocrinologists are great at dealing with this. She needs to go see, I'm assuming it's a she because it usually is. She needs to go see a good endocrinologist. She still needs to eat a proper human diet, and she still needs a daily supply of iodine in her diet, which the endocrinologist will immediately tell her to stop because they haven't thought it through. But yeah, she needs to go see endo because they can help with this. They're really good at Graves. Colton, 31-year-old type 1 diabetic for 27 years, no chronic kidney disease, but did have kidney problems in infancy. Carnivore for a month and BUN elevated, but creatinine still good. Continue carnivore or move towards keto. So for all of you guys, if you have any degree of chronic kidney disease and you want to start keto, ketovore, carnivore, watch 2 labs, your creatinine and your eGFR, your glomerular filtration rate. Those are the 2 labs you watch. Your BUN can go up or down for 100 different reasons. It's not a good marker of kidney health. Creatinine and eGFR, and then also a cystatin C. A lot of nephrologists will also check that, especially if you tell them, hey, I eat a lot of protein, I'm eating a lot of meat, they'll check a cystatin C, because sometimes even the creatinine can be falsely elevated. But if your creatinine was normal and your eGFR was normal, then carnivore away. And I love it that you're a type 1 diabetic and you've discovered carnivore, because that's what's going to keep all your toes in place, keep your vision in place, your kidney function, keep your heart pumping, and keep your body working like it should. Andrea, we've been doing carnivore, and my husband's uric acid is 7.1. and he is getting discouraged. What can he do? He can keep on keeping on. This is typically always a temporary elevation, and after when you recheck it in 3 to 6 months, it's already trending down and going back to normal.
Is he having any symptoms of gout?
She didn't mention it, so I'm sure he's not.
But I'm saying, like, keep that. If he's not having any symptoms, just that number being elevated is not really something
it matters, but
about.
it's not a gout issue.
Okay.
But it does matter, but it's part of the healing process. It's going to go back down. If any of you guys are afraid of eating too much meat or seafood because it might give you gout or cause a gout flare-up, I've got a YouTube video about gout that will ease your mind. It's not the meat and seafood causing it.
We just had someone share in the community today, I think, that they actually had a pulled tendon and they thought it was gout until you were like, it's not the gout. You need to have it looked at. And they were like, no, it's not actually. I just hurt myself and needed to go to the doctor, but they were going to, take their allopurinol.
Well, a lot of people think any joint pain is gout. And a lot of primary care doctors, if you say, I don't know, my knee's kind of stiff and achy, they're like, well, it might be gout. But for anybody watching who's had a gout attack, that'd be like telling a pregnant woman who's in natural labor, childbirth, well, I don't know, it might be labor. You're like, I know it's labor. Okay, gout is very, very painful.
Well, I don't know if I'd go all. I have a lot of stories. Sherry says, non-scale victory, eye appointment last week and my vision improved again for the third time in 4 years.
Now, vision doesn't always improve for everyone when you start a proper human diet. A lot of it is, why is your vision not what it should be? But for people who glycation is a big part of their vision problems, inflammation is a big part of their vision problems. When they go keto, ketovore, carnivore, a proper human diet, their vision improves. We've had people who had prescription glasses and they started keto or carnivore, and after 3 months, they're like, I feel like my vision's worse. And they would go see the eye doctor because they couldn't wear their glasses anymore. And the doctor would be like, no, your vision's actually better. You don't need these glasses anymore. They're too strong. We've heard that hundreds and hundreds of times.
Annie says, I'm just eliminating processed foods, but I love the information I get from this channel.
That's a great first start, honey. Yes. I
love that you said that, because that is all we ask you to do. Now, if you want to do the rest, awesome. We love that. We're here for you. Yep. But if you just take the processed foods out, you belong here. You're our people.
Absolutely.
Okay. We are here for anybody who wants to improve their health. I do not care if you get your bow and quiver and go outside and hunt your own grass-fed, grass-finished water buffalo. Okay. I want you to take those first few steps. So if that is you and you're like, but I don't want to go carnivore, that's okay. You don't have to. Yeah, absolutely. So keep in mind that a proper human diet spectrum includes low carb, keto, ketovore, carnivore, and the lion diet. That's the entire proper human diet spectrum. A lot of people come to my channel and they're looking for carnivore content, so they just assume, oh, a proper human diet's carnivore. Not for it. No. Maybe for 10 or 15% of people, they need to be carnivore long term. 20-25% of people need to be keto long term. Some people can do low carb, which is under 100 total grams. That's very low in sugar, no grains, no vegetable seed oils. That's the three things that we started talking about back in 2017 when we started this. Stop all added sugar and most natural sugar. Stop all grains and beans. Stop all vegetable seed oils. And you see which finger I reserve for the vegetable seed oils. Okay. There's a long list. And if you're eating anything that's processed, that's already made, it's got seed oils in it. You need to avoid that. So yes, you found your people right here. New guy, don't haze me. I hear dairy can block iron absorption. Does this mean butter could limit iron levels if we do beef, butter, bacon, and eggs? Question. Yeah, not the butter. It's not the fat portion of dairy that can block some iron absorption. Okay, it's not the fat. That's what butter is dairy fat. Megs, thank you, Neisha. Re, we know what's happening tomorrow, please. I'm here to be healthy and to stay that way. Yes. So Megs, is if you're just popping in, we're keeping it healthy in the comments. That's meaning that we're not talking about Bruno tomorrow. And if you don't have any kids, that means we're not talking about the thing that's happening that makes people go crazy, right? We're here to get healthy. Some people want to talk about it. They say we should talk about it, but we're not. We're not going to talk about. We're not. Some people say we should. Oh my God, that's not even good. I thought it was okay. It's not good. Okay. So guys, just a reminder, if you haven't hit that like button, go ahead and do that right now, because that helps us reach new people, tells the algorithm that we're not on here doing nothing important, that we're actually doing something that is here to help people and not inflame people, figuratively and literally. So hit that share button as well. You can send us in an email, a text message. You could, I guess, write it on a pigeon and send a pigeon.
You could do that, but that'd be a lot of trouble.
A lot of trouble.
A lot of trouble. And most people that get messages by pigeons probably don't have the internet. So then what would they do with it? Yeah. But yeah, please share this with somebody, because, you know, we've already answered a bunch of questions that could help literally 1 million people if everybody just shared this on their favorite social media. Haley North, I'm 1 year carnivore plus coffee, 7 weeks lion diet. That's ruminant meat, salt, and water only, except in Haley's case, it also includes coffee. I rarely have endo pain now. Stop tramadol 7 weeks ago, 400 milligrams daily for 5 years. Why do I still have acne?
That could be so many reasons.
So many reasons. Yes. So the way me and Neisha look at acne, I'm in my 50s. She's in her 30s. If you're still having acne, that means you're not old.
That's how I look at it. He wants me to look at it that way, but I don't. I look at it like Haley looks at it. Like, why? Why?
Because you're still young.
But I can tell you, Haley, I'm not sure how old you are. Oh, yeah, 26 years old. It could be because you went from whatever you were eating, assuming standard American, that you went to carnivore, your hormones are shifting. This could be temporary. It could be oxalate dumping, according to some people. The thing you need to remember is it's probably temporary.
Let me tell you this, Haley. When I used to prescribe acne medication to teenagers and 20-somethings and some 30-somethings, my standard line was, look, nothing's going to happen for about 3 months. Don't take this for a week and then call up here and say, hey, I still have acne. You're going to have acne. Acne's, once you get rid of the seed oils and the sugar in the grains and get rid of the inflammation, most people's acne clears up, but some people like yours doesn't. There's many complex hormonal reasons that could be. You got to give this time. And I know you're saying, well, it's been however many weeks. That's not enough time. Talk to me again after 3 or 4 months.
Also consider, because a lot of people, they make big changes and they make them through everything. If you've changed shampoos, face washes, or anything else during this time period, 100%. Even if you switch to some clean version, there still could be an ingredient that is irritating your skin. A lot of the pure ingredients can still cause your pores to clog up. So, I mean, just do water as much as possible and like the most simplest face wash on the planet. All right. And try to just let it detox.
Yeah. I promise you, there's nothing you can buy at the supermarket or the drugstore or the pharmacy or the pharmacia that's going to improve your acne. None of that stuff works. Literally none of it. Okay. So stop putting all that on your face. It's not going to help.
And it's probably temporary because it's only in 7 weeks. So.
Yes. Megs, I do 1/2 pack chocolate element in each of my 2 cups of coffee. So you use 1 pack a day, better than the copious amounts of heavy whipping cream that I used to do. That's arguable. Heavy whipping cream has a tiny bit of lactose and a little bit of dairy protein. Is that worse than the 500 milligrams or so of maltodextrin and element? It's probably a tie, depending on your metabolism. I love the chocolate salt in my coffee, but I've had to wean it off because it was just too sweet.
Eric G, I lost his comment, but I'm pretty sure I know what it says. He said, I can't always afford the grass-fed, grass-finished. Is just regular meat. Okay. I love that we are at a point where we are I don't even know how to say that. What meat on a scale, right? All right. So let's think about that, right? So if we're scaling meat and the benefits, let's not forget all the stuff that is under here, right? So as long as you're not going way down here and you're eating those Christmas tree little Debbies, right? I think you're okay. And don't be so worked up about the grass-fed, the grass-finished. If it's not in your budget, do the best you can do. And that is okay because you're still doing better than eating the processed chemical junk that is for sure not going to make you healthy.
Yeah. So I totally agree with that. Anytime somebody makes a claim like that, oh, you need grass finished or you're not. So if you're like, dude, all I can afford is the cheap ground beef from the discount grocery, and they're like, oh no, that's bad. My question immediately would be, compared to what?
Mhm.
Compared to what is ground beef bad? It is head and shoulders above 99% of anything else you can buy at the supermarket. Grass-fed, grass-finished beef does have a higher omega-3 content. It does have more beta-carotene. It does have more things, but it's not 5x or 10x or 20x. It's typically 3 to 5%. So for all you folks out on there on a budget, and we both know what that's like because we've both been broke as a joke.
I've been so broke that like I literally rolled into the gas station
100%.
on fumes
100%.
and had negative dollars in my account and was pulling coins out of my clothes so I could get like a quarter gallon to go home.
I used to be so broke that when I would take a yardstick, I guess now it's a meter stick. I would take a yardstick and a roll of paper towels to the laundromat when I was going to wash my clothes, and I would wrap a paper towel or two around it and then go under all the dryers, and I would get $2 or $3 out. I've been so broke, I've definitely went under the couch cushions looking for gas money. How many people have put $1.59 worth of gas in their car? You done that before? 100% done that. So when I say if all you can afford is just a cheap ground beef, good hot dogs with pretty clean ingredients.
Do hot dogs.
Yeah,
literally.
Bologna.
It's still better.
We got hot dogs in our fridge right now.
Than the ramen noodles.
100%.
And I have lived off ramen noodles.
Yes. So any of you guys, even if you're like our previous friend here who said, I'm not keto, I just want to eat better. Hot dogs are not junk food. Hot dogs are just ground up meat with salt and spices. Bologna is not junk food. It is ground up meat with salt and spices. A lot of people, that triggers them beyond, they're like, well, that's it. I just unfollowed you. You said bologna was healthy. So,
man, I don't care.
Look at the ingredients. Look at the ingredients. It's healthy. Come on.
Now, you can get really sugar laden. Like, you know what I mean? Sure. There can be brands that have way more sugar and brands that have less sugar.
Absolutely.
Compare them, but still like focus on just doing better than what the alternative is. Right?
Absolutely. Vicky, do steroid antibiotic drops when used in the ear affect the eyes? Concern is steroids' effect on eye pressure, and ears and eyes are close together. Not in the way you mean, Vicky. It's not going to have an effect on your eye pressure with regards to glaucoma. Sometimes when you put drops in your ear, the nerves are very closely connected, and you can feel it. It can make your eye flutter. It can make you feel like it's in your eye. But if you put it in your ear, it's not going to have any negative effect on your eye. Good question. JM, what worse fruits, cakes, keto desserts, the same?
What is worse? Fruits, cakes, keto desserts, or are they all the same?
Yeah. So if you mean standard cake, then obviously that's the worst. It contains literally lots of sugar, lots of wheat, and lots of vegetable seed oil.
I think so bad to less bad.
Yeah. What would be next?
The worst, I think, would be a keto dessert because there's no telling what is in there, and it's obviously processed because you can only buy those in a box. Okay, hear me out. Cake, if it is homemade, your grandma was in the kitchen and she did all the things, and it was made from scratch. Better than that box of keto, right? And you can also replace the sugar with a sugar-free substitute.
Right.
Okay? Hear me out. Fruit is at least real, right? It's at least real. And it has a little bit of nutrition in it.
So if you make the keto dessert at home and you're in charge of the ingredients, then I think that's probably not bad for an occasional treat, not a daily serving. Okay. Even if grandma makes the cake at home, it's still got flour. And a lot of us, that's just too much starch, too many glucose molecules.
Okay. Add another one in there. Keto boxed dessert versus
from the store.
Yes. Then keto, then cake, then homemade cake, then keto homemade cake, then fruit.
Some fruits, bananas and grapes are just sacks of sugar. Don't even count those as fruit.
Just try to stay away from them.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah. But the berries, you want some berries, I think that's fine. An occasional apple. What else? Don't forget that olives and avocado are fruits. So you can eat all those you want on keto.
We eat a lot of olives.
Empty 31-year-old male started keto last year in May, but went carnivore by the end of the year, 100 pounds down, 90 of them in the first 10 months. Now I weigh 185 pounds. Would having the occasional stevia treat, like a keto eggnog, be bad at this point? I don't think so. I want to get Neisha's opinion on this, but here's my take on this. Eggnog is a very seasonal thing. Now, if you're starting eggnog now on November the 4th, that you might have a problem, okay? But if you're like, no, I'll go to grandma's and I'm going to make keto eggnog and take it, I think that's fine to have for Christmas and the day before and the day after. It's no big deal because you're not going to do it again for 362 days. But now, if you're like, no, I'm going to keep keto eggnog in the fridge every day, come on, no, don't do that.
So I just did a video in our pro community. So if you're in the pro group, you can watch this. I posted the replay. And it's the traffic light. And I've talked about this on my channel. So I categorize foods in colors according to the traffic light. So red, I add orange for the holidays, yellow, green. Red is no-go. You don't eat that food.
Never.
I'm never going to do it. I don't care if it's Christmas. I know what that's going to do to me. I know it triggers me mentally, physically, causes me to binge, XYZ, whatever, fill in the reason. It's a no food. You got to label those today. So, you know, when Christmas comes or whatever, you already have labeled that. An orange food would be something like eggnog. But I can't tell you if eggnog is a red food or orange food for you. You have to know if that is a red food or an orange food. Can you have it at Christmas time and then nothing bad happens? Or is the eggnog going to bring on the urge to do something else and eat something else? And then before you know it, you went completely off plan for 2 whole months and you've gained 15 pounds and now you're depressed and you're guilty and I did all those things and now I got to start all over and da-da-da-da-da-da. Get ahead of the game. Reflect on last year. What did you allow on your plate last year that you thought would be fine? Turned out it wasn't fine. Make sure you don't make those mistakes again. It's a learning experience.
Yep.
We learn every year.
Also, I love it that Empty Veins kind of told their story in the comments. Has anybody else lost a significant chunk of weight on low-carb, keto, ketovore, carnivore, proper human diet? Tell your story in the comments, because I promise you there are people who are watching this video right now they've got this much hope. It's like, I don't know. I keep hearing about keto, carnivore, Dr. Berry. I've tried everything under the sun. Please tell your story in the comments, because people are reading the comments and that could be just the comment that they're like, okay, I'm going to give this a try.
100 pounds, man. Good job. Congratulations.
Right?
Have the eggnog.
BNL, doctor, what does rare mucus in the urine mean? It means there's inflammation somewhere. I've read it's normal. It's never normal. It might not be serious or concerning, but if you're having like intermittent episodes of noticing mucus in your urine, you need to go see your doctor. This could be urethritis. This could be ureteritis. This could be nephritis. This could be cystitis. Could be any number of itises.
Prostate.
Yeah, you need to go see your doctor. And it may turn out to not be a big deal, but you need to get that checked out.
Look at all these wins in the comments.
Yes, read the comments, guys. Please don't be shy about leaving your story in the comments. I can't tell you the number of times somebody has told us, you know what got me started? I read a comment on one of your videos, because I thought, who's this redneck from Tennessee that thinks he knows everything? And then I read this woman's comment, and it was my story, except it had a happy ending. And I was like, maybe I should try this. So please don't be shy. Jennifer, not sure why I felt off with warm and swollen thyroid after adding, I'll explain, 5 milligrams. So that's 5,000 micrograms, Lugol's iodine daily. I've had 3 babies since 2020 and live in the Gorder Belt. So here's what happened, Jennifer. And this is why a lot of people think they're allergic to iodine. If you are severely iodine deficient, like Jennifer was, and you start taking, that's why Neisha said start low and go slow to avoid this. This is not dangerous, but what this is if your thyroid is basically starving for iodine and there's not enough in your diet and you start taking a lot of iodine, your thyroid is like, huzzah! And it starts doing thyroid things like a crazy thyroid maniac. It doesn't give you hyperthyroidism, doesn't give you thyroid cancer. That's all foolishness. But you will feel hyperthyroid for a second until your thyroid goes, oh, okay, we're going to have a steady supply, so I can just calm down. Does that make sense? That's what happened to you, Jennifer. So everybody, if you're going to supplement iodine, start low, go slow. You can increase it, but just don't go 5,000 micrograms on the first day.
Also, when he says you're not allergic to iodine, he means that in a way that the iodine that comes from a Lugol's bottle and the iodine that you get put on your skin in the hospital or the contrast in the hospital, those are not the same.
That's right. Also, if you're allergic to seafood, you're not allergic to iodine. You're allergic to something else in the seafood. Bellin, my mom is 4 months into carnivore, lost 20 pounds already. Blood work is perfect. Amlodipine 10 milligrams and Ramipril 5 milligrams. BP is normal, but stopped them and it went very high. So it's not time for her to stop the blood pressure medicine yet. In the next month or 2 or 3, she can probably decrease one of these medicines, maybe go down to 5 milligrams on the amlodipine, but make sure you're checking her blood pressure properly. And a lot of people say, well, I mean, duh, you just, no, there is a long list of do's and don'ts when it comes to checking your blood pressure. If you do 3 things wrong, you can make your blood pressure 15 points falsely high. So you think your blood pressure is still high when if you would just check your blood pressure right, it's not high. I've got a YouTube video about how to check your blood pressure properly. Please watch that video and then keep on keeping on. Mom's doing great.
There's a lot of questions in the comments about iodine. Ken has a Dr. Berry. I don't even know what to call you. This guy over here.
Call me daddy.
Oh, no. So there are, God, what? Then I go and spoil it all by saying something stupid like, yeah, that. So, oh my God, I can't even talk. He has multiple videos about iodine on this YouTube channel, including an interview that's an hour long with Dr. Brownstein, who's written a lot of information he's got, how many books does he have now?
2, but his one book.
Of them, yeah. So there's so much information about iodine.
Yep. Dr. Elizabeth Bright also has a ton of information. I've interviewed her on this channel. She has a book about iodine. Iodine is super important, and doctors often are clueless when it comes to iodine.
If you're new here, he acts up sometimes.
Glenn, my wife was diagnosed with reactive hypoglycemia due to stomach surgery. Will the carnivore way of eating be beneficial for this condition? The vast majority of people with reactive hypoglycemia, that's episodes of just seemingly no reason their blood sugar dips. Almost always, this is because they're hyperinsulinemic, okay? When you slowly convert her either to carnivore or to keto, either one's fine. But what's going to happen is the hypoglycemia, those episodes are going to wean down and stop. She just won't have them anymore. She just doesn't want to call me that on camera.
How in the world am I supposed to be on YouTube and keep a straight face when you say stuff like that?
What did I say? What? It wasn't that bad. Jalen, like, is that a verb or no? Jalen, okay. Having some diarrhea on keto after I eat steak cooked in butter, can I supplement with raw oysters and remove the red meat, eating primarily chicken? A lot of people do carnivore and they don't eat steak at all. Some people can't afford steak. For some people, eating a cow, it goes against their religious beliefs. There are many people that do carnivore with poultry and seafood. Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's fine. There's just something about a steak, though, for most of us. But I love raw oysters. They are superfoods. And for those of you who are like, it's like eating snot.
More for me. That's fine. No, more for me. I will say, Jalen, if you maybe think about just eating a fattier steak, so like a ribeye that has way more fat content, and just not add the butter, just eat the steak with the fat that's attached to the steak, that may be your problem. Maybe you're just adding more fat than your body is able to handle right now.
Eat
maybe
the fat
in the future,
that comes with the meat.
Yeah, maybe you can add butter later.
Yep.
But maybe just dial back on adding fat. You know, there's a lot of fat on a ribeye.
Yeah, absolutely. Vicky, okay. Vicky says, if you are chronic kidney disease stage 3, can you still do keto or carnivore if creatinine rises with cooked meat ingestion? So here's my question, Vicky. What else did you eat with the cooked meat? It probably wasn't the meat that raised your creatinine. Do you have an estimate of how many people in our community, in our group, have reversed their stage 3 chronic kidney disease?
I mean,
it's
of
hundreds.
the people in the group who have CKD,
It's hundreds at least.
that's probably 90% that have seen benefits, and the 10% that haven't just joined and haven't started yet.
We've seen CKD stage 3 go back to stage 2 or even stage 1. We've seen stage 2 go back to 1 or completely back to normal. And stage 1 CKD, when you start a proper human diet, keto, ketovore, carnivore, it always goes back to normal and stays there because meat is good for your kidneys. Meat is not bad for your kidneys. Now, drinking buku whey protein shakes and getting way too much protein that way in an artificial fashion, that might be bad for your kidneys. But eating meat like humans have been doing since we've been on this planet is good for your kidneys. Dapper Dave. Hey, Dapper Dave. I take vitamin B complex, probiotics, D3, and fish oil as a hedge for the carnivore diet. Am I sabotaging my weight loss goals or overall health results? I like the D3. The probiotics, maybe. Don't waste your money on fish oil. Just eat fish. And then the vitamin B complex, you're definitely wasting your money on that because red meat there is no higher source of the B vitamins than a carnivore diet. You're not going to need to supplement any B vitamins at all. Bonks. Wife had gallbladder removed 10 years ago. She had blood work done, and doctor says she might have hyperbilirubinemia. Will carnivore help? So first and foremost, she needs to see her doctor and perhaps a specialist to find out why she has hyperbilirubinemia. Now, some people have something called Gilbert's or Gilbert's, which is just an isolated, elevated total bilirubin. It's not dangerous. It's not bad. Those people actually live longer. Nobody knows why. But if it's just Gilbert's, then it's 100% she can eat carnivore. She can start carnivore right now while the specialist is figuring out why she has hyperbilirubinemia, because eating lots of meat is good for your liver. It is not bad for your liver. Thank you, Clark. Chris, hey, Doc. From Florida, my life is slowly changing, starting off at 300 pounds. Started October 1, woke up this morning to an undigested piece of fat after I went to the bathroom, wondering, is this okay? You would be the first human being that I have ever encountered in my entire professional career who pooped out a piece of undigested meat. I doubt that was fat. It was probably mucus. Some people will poop mucus every now and then. That's probably what that was.
And there's the poop.
And there's the poop. I knew we were going to talk about it. David Glass, occasional gout, self-diagnosed top of foot swelling and irritation was how I laced my shoes. No doctor could figure it out for 6 years. So the top of your foot was swelling because the top of your foot's made up of just bones, and gout always occurs in a joint, not in a bone. So that was probably not gout. Sorry, don't be mad.
Day Mimo.
Day Mimo. I like that.
Greetings, Dr. Barry and Neisha. I've been carnivore for 4 months. Asthma is gone. Fatigue gone. 23 pounds off. Anxiety and depression gone. Vision improved. This week I've eaten carbs and I feel terrible. Yeah. Girl, I think we all have to go through that. We have to feel amazing and be like, what if I just... It's just a little, and then we're like, oh yeah, that's why I stopped eating that. Yeah,
right. I forgot about it.
Yeah, but I'm so happy that you've seen all those improvements and you've learned that you can't go back, and you can mourn the loss of the bad stuff, but embrace the good wins. Look at all those wins.
And a comment like this freaks some people out because they're like, well, so after you've eaten a proper human diet, you can't ever go back and eat other kinds of food again. You're thinking about it wrong. Here's how to think about this. Human beings are a specific species of mammal. Human beings have a proper human diet, a species-specific diet. Bread is not part of that diet. I'm sorry. It's not. Cake is not part of that diet. Most of the carbohydrates, definitely the carbs that Day Mimo is talking about, they're not part of a proper human diet. You should never go back and say, well, I don't understand. Every time I eat coconut cake, I feel terrible afterwards. This carnivore diet has messed me up. No, coconut cake is not real food for human beings. Does that make sense? When you look at it that way, you're like, oh, it's not that I've become hypersensitive to those things. It's that I've healed my body so much that my body literally rebels now when I eat junk food. Yes, that's what's happening.
One more question.
Oh, I love Damon's question. Sandra.
Go ahead.
I started carnivore last Monday. Blood work done 2 weeks ago showed my arachidonic acid EPA is 47.4. Can I stay carnivore? Yes, this is temporary. This is going to go back towards healthy normal.
Mind your business. I got something going on.
Okay.
Okay, guys, we are out. That's the end of our hour. Thanks for hanging out with us. We were happy to be back. We had we've had some busy weeks in the past few weeks.
Yes.
Actually, the past 5 years. Anyway, we're back on our normal rotation. So we will be back on here for the next 2 months on every Monday Night Live, unless something really crazy happens.
So make sure and follow me right where you're watching this from, because we'll be back next Monday night at 6 p.m. Central.
Yes. And so we're going to be talking about things that have to do with staying consistent and accountable and the holidads, because we know it's a tough time to stay on plan. Some people are good with this level of support. Some people may need a buddy, a friend. If you need an online buddy or friend, you can come in the community. We have the link here. And if you want another level, if you want to be like, you want to have Neisha and the pro coaches, like, make sure that you stay on track, we are running a mini challenge. So it's not super stressful. In fact, we're going to have a lot of fun in the pro group, and we're doing weekly check-ins. We're doing exercises. I got you guys doing worksheets, but we're also going to play some games, do giveaways, and all that fun stuff too. So it's phdhealth.community. I've put the link. Oh, you can't pin it on here. I was planning on pinning it. That doesn't really help. But you can go to phdhealth.com.community. We've had 3 or 4 different. Now it's drberry.com/community, isn't it?
It is.
Okay. And then go to the pro group. But if you just need to hang out, you can go to the essentials group, or you can come back here next week, Monday, and we'll help as much as we can.
Absolutely. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks so much for sharing this video. That could be just a thing that saves the life of a person you've never met. Thanks a lot, guys. See you next time.
Love you, Maynard.